Hello guys, thank you for tuning into my channel. My name is Anthony and I take this opportunity to welcome all of you who have tuned in today. As you tune in today, it's my hope that this video will be of benefit. It will add value to your life and that the nuggets that we shall discuss, you will find a way to put them into use. We have been speaking about leadership and about young leaders in our mini series, Leadership Talks. And today I'd like to focus on the aspect of vision. Okay, so if you have watched my videos so far, you've heard me mentioning a number of times, and therefore today I'd like us just to delve deeper into vision, and we can see what you're going to unmask, okay, when it comes to the concept of vision with regards to leadership. So as you obviously know that for you to become an effective leader, you must have a vision that guides you. You must have a target that you're aiming for, and this target is encapsulated by a vision. So the vision is the mental map for any leader, and in this mental map, it constitutes everything that will help you fulfill your desired objective. And your desired objective as a leader is to provide a solution to a certain problem that is there in society. So, by virtue of you being a problem solver, it means that leadership is a calling to solve a particular problem in society. Every leader is called to perceive a problem and to offer a solution. And therefore, you need a blueprint that will help you achieve the solution that seeks to help society alleviate certain problems. And this blueprint or the plan or the map is what we call the vision. The vision is a general assembly of all the requirements that will help a leader achieve certain objectives with regard to the problem that you want to solve. And therefore, you cannot be a leader who does not have a vision. And when it comes to vision, I personally define vision as the blueprint to help you succeed as a leader. And you need to have two types of vision. There's what I call the macro vision, and then there's what I call the micro vision. So the macro vision gives you the broad spectrum of what you want to fulfill. The micro gives you the finer details of how you're going to fulfill it. So the macro is like the skeleton of the vision. The micro is like the meat of the vision. Because for any animal or being, you need to have a skeleton and the meat. The skeleton gives structure to a person. The meat fills the specific places that make a person solid and compact. So you need a combination of both the skeleton and the meat, the structure and the content. So the macro and the micro. So let me begin with the macro, then I'll cascade it down to the micro, and I hope by the end of our talk you will have gained something. So what is a macro vision? A macro vision is the blueprint that you have as a leader that shapes how your solution will help society handle specific problems. So you have a plan, you have a structure that you are willing to employ, and this structure is what you will use to effectualize your plan in society. So the macro vision helps you know the points of intersection between your plan and the society at large. So let's say you are a leader who's supposed to bring certain solutions. Let's say you're supposed to solve a water crisis. So you come up with a strategy okay, that will help society deal with this problem of solving water shortages. Okay, so let's say you want to dig a borehole, or you want to dig boreholes, or let me say you want to build a dam. You have been mandated with the task of building a dam for a specific collective of individuals or people. So the macro vision helps you map out all the possible intersections between this dam that you're building and the society at large. How is this dam going to impact society, both positively and negatively, both directly and indirectly? So the macro vision will take into consideration factors such as this dam will need to occupy space. So probably there are people who have lands, so they will be displaced. So you see there's that aspect of compensation because it relates with the intersection of what you're bringing forth and the society at large. So there's the perspective of maybe displacement of land. Then you need to look at probably this dam is going to help the society or community at large get water for farming or irrigation. So how will this water move from the dam to the farms? So there needs to be a framework whereby infrastructure needs to be built that connects the farms to the dam. So that involves piping and engineers or plumbers or that, okay? So there is the dam, and then there is the society, and then there is the interaction between the dam and the people. So any sort of effect, interaction, communication, relation between what you're doing and the society at large requires you to have a macro vision. You're supposed to map out and see all the possible effects of this project, whether positive or negative. So if there are adverse effects that arise from this project, how are we going to mitigate them? How are we going to resolve the effects? And if there are positive benefits to the community, how are we going to administer these benefits? How are we going to cascade the benefits to the people? So you need to find a way in which this project, okay, you are able to deal with the consequences and the impact of that project to society, both in the negative dimension and in the positive dimension. So you look at the benefits and you look at the disadvantages of this project, how it affects society negatively and how it affects it positively. Then you need to effectively address it such that the positive side, the people or the society, they are able to uptake all the benefits without any harm befalling them. And when it comes to the negative effects of the project, you need to come up with ways to mitigate the risk and the effects that the society face. And those that you can prevent, you prevent. Those that you need to sort of look for a solution, you look for it. So the macro vision gives you a broader perspective that focuses on the outward impacts of your specific project or your specific agenda to society. So whatever you're doing as a leader has a direct effect on society. So those effects and how they relate to people, you need to sit down, table them, okay, divide them into both positive and negative aspects, then look at how you're going to mitigate them, or look at how you're going to make them effectively effectively have a positive impact on society, so that there are no wastages. The project becomes efficient in its uptake and the effects become mitigated as much as possible. We limit the damage to society, we limit the negative effects. That is the macro vision. the broader spectrum. Then there's what I call the micro vision. The micro vision for any leader is the internal mechanisms that enable you to deliver a project. Let me use the dam example again. So what I was talking about is the effects of the project after its completion to society. So how the project interfaces with society. That is the macro vision. The micro vision is how you're going to come up with the internal mechanisms that will enable this project to come to completion. So basically, your micro vision gives you the blueprint or the roadmap that will help you construct this project to completion. So this is a dam. So in this example, your micro vision will involve factors such as: what does it take to construct a dam? What materials do I need? Where does financing come from? What personnel do I need? How long is the time frame to construct this dam? How do I need to coordinate this team so that they can build this thing and come up with a structure that is safe for use, that does not pose great harm to society? Contrary to that, it offers benefit. So your micro vision gives you a blueprint that defines how the project will be conceived, how you will progress it, and how you're going to complete it so that it becomes a fully functional thing. Remember, this can be a physical structure. It can also be a policy framework. So if it's a policy framework, your micro vision is the internal coordination of the team members who come up with that policy framework. For the physical structures, you need now to know how to get financing, get materials, get the laborers, get the engineers, get the required equipment, how you're going to coordinate this thing, the working hours, the safety conditions, the inspections, the milestones, So there's this whole operational system that or this atmosphere inside here. There's an ecosystem of the operations of the project internally, from the project developers who have been given the mandate to come up with that structure of a dam. So you, as the vision bearer, you need to know how your internal team will coordinate themselves so that by the end of the required timeline, this dam comes to fruition. It becomes a fully fledged project. But the macro vision, which I talked about earlier, deals with the impact or the interaction of now the project after completion with the society at large. So as a leader, you need to know what you're called to do. You need to have two types of vision: the micro vision that helps you come up with the solution to a certain problem, and the macro vision that informs you or studies how that solution will interact with the people. So once you know how that solution will affect people, you prepare for the outcomes, both the negative and positive aspects of it, so that the positive aspects can be effectively ministered to the people and the negative ones can be mitigated as much as possible and curtailed so that it does not cause adverse harm to the people. So you're coming up with a solution as a leader. How you come up with that solution, that is the micro vision. The effects of that solution to the general public, that is the macro vision. So you need to carry both lenses as a leader. You need to exercise your mind to see how the process of coming up with a solution looks like and what the effects of that solution are to the people that you want to bring the solution to them. So I do hope that has made sense. I do hope that brings some sort of illumination into your mind so that you kind of understand the two dimensions of what a leader should think of when you're coming up with a solution. You need to know how to come up with a solution, and you also need to think of what your solution will bring and how it will affect the society at large. Okay, so I don't want to complicate it any further than that. I will leave it at that so that you can digest what I have just shared, and it's my prayer and hope that it widens how you look at problem solving, how you look at leadership, and it introduces a more complete way of reasoning, so that even as you come up with a solution as a leader, you look at both the macro vision and the micro vision to enable you deliver a project that is up to standard and has minimal adverse effects to the population, but rather it delivers appropriate and efficient solution to a certain collective that you represent as a leader. And so with that, I think I will stop it at that. That's what I wanted to share today. I do hope it makes a difference to one or two or some or all of you. Okay, so guys, like, share and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you for my next episode. Cheers and God bless you.